What is up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. It's another commuting day, but that's not what you came here to see. I'm gonna ask some questions, I'm gonna start a discussion, give you some updates. Oh, look at that. They move out of my way. You can barely see the sun through the clouds, but they're not calling for rain today. No siree, Bob. So I'm taking the bike to work. Yes, I commute on this big beast. But hey, I mean, you got your favorite bike, that's what you're riding. But speaking of this Harley recently announced the Sportster S with the Revolution Max engine. That makes two bikes that they've put it in now. What else do you think it'll fit in? I mean, the Pan America is kind of a mid-sized bike, I think, 500 and some pounds. The Sportster S is tipping the scales at 502 wet. I only remember that because I did my video recently on it. But really, what else can Harley fit the Revolution Max engine into? And in what displacement do you think they could bump it up to fit some of the bigger bikes? I mean, you've got the well, not Dyna anymore. You've got the Softail line with the Street Bob and all that. And those bikes have a 107 or a 114 in them. And that's a Milwaukee 8. That's a big engine, you know? The 114 is 1,869 cc's of raw torque, whereas the 107 is going to be a little bit less. And the Revolution Max is only at 1,250, and, well, I think it's going to be a 975 at some point. I really feel that the baseline Sportster S or Sportster is going to have the 975 cc version of the of that Revolution Max engine. So if they bring it down, is there room in the Harley lineup for a base actual entry-level bike that isn't a Sportster per se? Maybe like a 700 cc version of the Revolution Max? And can they upsize that design to get into the 1,500 cc range? Something where you're along the lines of a 107, but with the power and torque of like a 117 or a 124, you know? It really, they got 150 horses on the Pan America. And if the Harley faithful will accept liquid cooling, then they could bump up. I mean, that thing already, I mean, it would just look tiny in the full touring chassis. But if they bumped up the size somehow and even detuned it to make more torque, you know, like they did the 1250 torque engine in the Sportster S. Thank you to the commenter that clued me in on that one. If they brought the size up a little bit and detuned it, it would still make great horsepower. At that point, yeah, it would still, the design I think still requires liquid cooling. But it would be one hell of an engine to put in a touring bike. What in the world are you doing? I should have gone around you. I may still. No, I won't. I mean, if Harley can get that horsepower and torque out of 1250, I'm going to do some math. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. But it stands to reason from my uneducated self that if you have 1250 producing 121 horsepower, that's 10 horsepower for every 100 cc's. And the 106 in the Indian is putting out 130 or 140. So it's putting out less than 10 horsepower per 100 cc's. If you bumped up the Revolution Max to 1,500 cc's, then Harley could theoretically get 150 horsepower, but with a torque figure just astronomical. And it would take beefing up of the internals. You'd have to make it stronger to be able to handle the extra vigor of the 1,500 Revolution Max. I mean, Harley's naming the Sportster, so let's name it the Revolution Max. I think that would be pretty badass, actually. I would consider getting that. Yeah. mean, I'm not a huge fan of liquid cooling just because it adds complexity, but if you're going to get better performance and economy and all that, then shoot, I say go for it. Now, I don't think that Harley is going to drop the touring chassis, so they might make some modifications for the big engine. But at the same time, the Revolution Max, I guess, has been designed to be a stressed frame member, a stressed member of the chassis for the Sportster S and the Pan America. So maybe they could go that route with a big touring bike. I mean, the new Harley is just crazy enough to actually try it, am I right? So those are my thoughts on it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below where else the Revolution Max engine will fit or be applicable, and what sizes you think it's going to be. So, moving on. Why am I in 6th gear? No, I have like 82 miles to empty and I have to ride 60 miles. This could get interesting. I totally forgot to check my fuel gauge. I've been starting the last like 4 videos that I've recorded, not that I posted, at the gas station. But I didn't even look at the gas gauge before I threw a leg over this thing. I was like, whoopsie. Oh well, maybe I'll stop. There's a cheapy one up here, I think. Maybe I'll stop there. I am loving this new windshield, however. Hopefully the audio's a little bit clearer. It seemed on my last couple of rides that once you hit highway speed, the audio actually gets worse. And I think that's because the wind is doing this and it's just changing how the wind flows. So it's worse than the 6.5, but the slower speed stuff seems actually much clearer. So yay! I still apply all my magic to it though. But speaking of magic, I got a lot of great content coming for you. Some longer, some shorter. I think the shortest one is 3.5 minutes. The longest one is 30. So if you sit down with some popcorn and a cold beverage, adult or otherwise, you might be able to sit there and enjoy it. I certainly have a lot of fun riding around and making the videos that go with that, but I'm not really sure what my audience is willing to sit through. And obviously my audience is willing to sit through a lot because you're watching me now, but I meant more long form versus short form content. So like my High Rock series and the Littlestown trip, I broke those into like 10-minute segments. But for these other 2 videos that I already have uploaded and ready to go, I just let them run. They were just as long as they're going to be, and that's that. Really? Well, now it's even Steven again. Well, we're going to hop back over here then. Boop. So let me know in the comments below. This is thing number 2 to answer for me. What's the longest video you're willing to watch? Haha, caught them on the phone. They on the phone? Yep, you're on the phone. Put the phone down. I really hate when people have to be on their damn phones when they're supposed to be driving. And now she's probably going to run into me because she's too stupid to put her phone down. It really grinds my gears. I understand there's a lot of people out there that can multitask and don't get too grossly distracted when they're driving, but that dum-dum certainly is not in that group. Anyway, rant over. So how long the video will you watch? We're gonna find out, aren't we? It's an exciting time. I have about 8 projects already filmed and in various stages of editing in DaVinci Resolve, including a couple of DaVinci Resolve tutorials. So if there's something you want to see, now's the time to ask for that, because I love hitting record and trying to help people out. And if I know something, I'm willing to share it with you. So go ahead and let me know what you want to see done. I will give this caveat though, if it's something that's like really technical and complicated and somebody else has already done it better, I will send you a link to their video. Unless you really insist, in which case I'll do it too. Probably not as good. Ah, good times. It is windy out. I hope I can even hear this in the editor. Hopefully this windscreen does its job. I'm still slouching a little bit, but I can just sit up straight. When I started riding, I was sitting up straight looking way over it. So with that, I am going to tune into some music enjoy the rest of my ride. You enjoy the rest of your day. If you like this video, leave it a like. Go check out these videos here. Maybe you'll leave me a subscription too. Have a great day. Bye.